Welcome, fellow seekers of the eerie and the unexplained, to Whispers Beyond the Waves, your go-to channel for spine-tingling tales and haunted histories. Here, we journey into the shadowy corners of the world where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, where whispers echo from forgotten times, and where the past refuses to stay buried. Today, we embark on a chilling odyssey along the rugged and storied shores of the East Coast, a region steeped in maritime history, where lighthouses stand as silent sentinels against the relentless fury of the sea. These towering beacons, once guiding sailors to safety, now harbor secrets darker than the storms they weathered. The East Coast is home to some of the most iconic, and allegedly haunted, lighthouses in the United States. From the jagged cliffs of Maine to the windswept beaches of Florida, these structures have borne witness to centuries of human drama, shipwrecks, isolation, heartbreak, and untimely deaths. Their beams of light may have saved countless lives, but their shadows conceal stories of tragedy and despair that linger long after the lanterns dim. Whether it's the ghostly cries of lost mariners or the spectral figures of keepers who never left their posts, these lighthouses are more than just architectural marvels. They are gateways to another realm. In this two-part series, we will explore the most haunted lighthouses along the East Coast, delving into their rich histories and uncovering the chilling legends that surround them. This first installment sets the stage for an unforgettable voyage through time and terror. We'll step inside these foreboding towers, where echoes of the past reverberate through empty halls, and where the boundary between the living and the dead feels perilously thin. Are you ready to face the unknown? Grab your lantern, steady your nerves, and join us as we navigate the haunted waters of the East Coast's most enigmatic lighthouses. Let the journey begin. The ghosts of St. Augustine Lighthouse, a beacon of tragedy perched on the northeastern tip of Florida. The St. Augustine Lighthouse stands as one of the oldest and most storied navigational aids on the East Coast. Its majestic black and white striped tower rises 165 feet above the Atlantic Ocean, a symbol of resilience against the relentless tides. But beneath its picturesque exterior lies a haunting legacy that has drawn paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike for decades. Known as one of the most actively haunted lighthouses in America, St. Augustine's Beacon is said to be a magnet for restless spirits whose tragic fates continue to echo through its hallowed halls. The lighthouse's haunted reputation begins with its origins. Built in 1874 to replace an earlier structure destroyed by erosion, the current tower was constructed under challenging conditions, claiming lives even before it was completed. Among those lost was a young girl named Eliza, the daughter of one of the construction workers. According to local lore, Eliza and her sister were playing near the site when their makeshift cart overturned, plunging Eliza into the watery depths below. Her body was never recovered, and many believe her spirit remains tethered to the lighthouse, forever searching for peace. Visitors frequently report hearing the faint sound of a child laughing or crying, particularly near the base of the tower. Some claim to see a small figure darting between the shadows, only to vanish when approached. But Eliza's ghost is not alone. The lighthouse keeper's quarters, now converted into a museum, are said to host a spectral couple believed to be the spirits of former keepers Joseph Andrew and his wife, Maria. Joseph tragically fell to his death while painting the tower in 1859, leaving Maria to grieve in solitude. Since then, staff and visitors have reported strange occurrences within the quarters, including disembodied footsteps, the scent of cigar smoke, and objects moving seemingly on their own. One particularly unsettling account involves a volunteer who felt an invisible hand tug at her hair while working late at night. When she turned around, she saw nothing, but the sensation persisted, as if an unseen presence refused to let go. Perhaps the most infamous legend tied to the St. Augustine Lighthouse revolves around the Dark Watchers, shadowy figures said to haunt the surrounding grounds. These apparitions are often spotted standing atop the tower or lurking among the trees, their forms flickering like candlelight before disappearing entirely. Some believe they are the spirits of sailors who perished in nearby shipwrecks, eternally drawn to the light that might have saved them. Others speculate they are the remnants of Civil War soldiers stationed in the area, guarding the coastline long after their mortal duties ended. Whatever their origin, sightings of the Dark Watchers have become so frequent that they've earned a place in local folklore, inspiring both fear and fascination. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the St. Augustine Lighthouse, eager to document its otherworldly activity. Using tools such as EMF detectors, thermal cameras, and EVP recorders, researchers have captured compelling evidence suggesting the presence of multiple entities. Audio recordings reveal faint whispers and unintelligible voices, while infrared footage shows fleeting shapes moving across empty rooms. During one investigation, a team member claimed to feel an icy breath on her neck while ascending the spiral staircase, accompanied by the distinct sound of sobbing echoing from above. When she reached the top, the noises ceased, leaving behind only silence and an overwhelming sense of unease. What makes the St. Augustine Lighthouse uniquely terrifying is its accessibility. Unlike many haunted locations shrouded in secrecy, this historic site invites visitors to experience its supernatural side firsthand. Guided tours offer glimpses into its storied past, while nighttime paranormal investigations allow thrill-seekers to explore its darker corners under the cover of darkness. For those brave enough to climb the 219 steps to the top, the reward is breathtaking views of the Atlantic, but also the unsettling possibility of encountering something, or someone, unseen. For all its beauty and charm, the St. Augustine Lighthouse serves as a poignant reminder of humanity's fragility in the face of nature's power. It is a place where joy and sorrow intertwine, where life and death dance in perpetual harmony. As you walk its grounds or ascend its spiral staircase, remember that the light that once guided ships to safety may also illuminate paths to realms beyond our understanding. And should you hear the distant laughter of a child or catch a glimpse of a shadow out of the corner of your eye, know this: the spirits of St. Augustine are watching and waiting. The haunting of Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, echoes of shipwrecks and lost souls rising like a sentinel over North Carolina's treacherous Outer Banks. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse stands as both a marvel of engineering and a grim testament to the dangers of the sea. Nicknamed the Graveyard of the Atlantic, this stretch of coastline has claimed hundreds of ships since colonial times, earning it a reputation as one of the deadliest maritime regions in the world. Yet, it is not just the physical wrecks that haunt these shores. The spirits of those who perished in the unforgiving waters are said to linger, drawn to the towering beacon that failed to save them. With its iconic black and white spiral pattern and storied past, the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse is widely regarded as one of the most haunted sites on the East Coast, an intersection of human tragedy and the supernatural. The lighthouse itself dates back to 1803, though the current structure, completed in 1870, replaced an earlier tower deemed inadequate due to its low height and weak light. Standing at 198 feet tall, it is the tallest brick lighthouse in the United States, a necessary adaptation to the shifting sands and violent storms that characterize the Outer Banks. For generations, it's beam guided sailors away from the deadly Diamond Shoals, a shallow sandbar notorious for ensnaring vessels. Despite its noble purpose, the lighthouse could not prevent every disaster. Countless ships met their doom along this desolate coast, leaving behind a trail of broken hulls, scattered cargo, and lost lives. It is said that the spirits of these unfortunate mariners still haunt the area, their cries carried on the wind and their ghostly forms seen wandering the dunes and climbing the lighthouse's spiral staircase. One of the most enduring legends associated with Cape Hatteras involves the ghost of a lighthouse keeper who died under mysterious circumstances. Though records are sparse, oral tradition holds that a keeper during the late 19th century vanished without explanation, leaving behind only cryptic journal entries hinting at supernatural encounters. Staff members today report feeling an inexplicable chill in certain parts of the lighthouse, particularly near the lantern room at the top. Visitors have described seeing a shadowy figure dressed in period clothing pacing the catwalk outside the lantern, gazing out over the ocean as though scanning for ships in distress. Others claim to hear faint footsteps echoing through the empty halls, accompanied by the creak of floorboards that haven't been walked on in decades. But it is the specter of the sea itself, the angry waves, howling winds, and doomed vessels, that defines the haunting aura of Cape Hatteras. Witnesses recount eerie phenomena linked directly to the tragedies that unfolded offshore. On stormy nights, when the ocean roars and lightning illuminates the sky, locals and tourists alike have reported seeing ghost ships materializing on the horizon. The interior of the lighthouse is no less unnerving. Climbers who brave the 268 steps to the top often describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they ascend. Many report hearing disembodied voices whispering indistinct words, or the distant sound of waves crashing even when far from the shore. One particularly harrowing account comes from a group of paranormal investigators who spent the night inside the tower. Using thermal imaging cameras, they captured what appeared to be a humanoid figure standing at the base of the staircase, its form flickering like a flame before vanishing entirely. Audio recordings taken during the same session revealed faint moans and the sound of splashing water, despite the absence of any visible source. Perhaps the most spine-chilling tale ties directly to the infamous wreck of the Carol A. Deering, a schooner that ran aground near Cape Hatteras in 1921 under bizarre and unexplained circumstances. The ship was found abandoned, its crew missing and its logbook destroyed. To this day, the fate of the sailors remains a mystery, fueling speculation about piracy, mutiny, or even supernatural intervention. Locals swear that on quiet nights, the silhouette of a large ship can be seen drifting toward the shore, accompanied by the mournful wail of foghorns. Those bold enough to approach claim the vessel disappears upon closer inspection, leaving behind only the lingering scent of salt water and brine. Modern-day visitors to Cape Hatteras often find themselves caught between awe and apprehension. While the lighthouse's commanding presence inspires admiration, its haunted reputation ensures that few leave unaffected. Tour guides regale guests with tales of ghostly encounters, while historians emphasize the human cost of the region's maritime disasters. Even casual climbers cannot escape the pervasive sense of being watched, as though unseen eyes follow their every move. For those willing to delve deeper, nighttime paranormal tours offer a chance to confront the lighthouse's spectral inhabitants head-on, armed with flashlights and courage. What makes Cape Hatteras truly unique is its ability to evoke primal fears. The vastness of the ocean, the unpredictability of nature, and the fragility of human life. Each wave that crashes against the shore carries the weight of centuries-old tragedies, each gust of wind a reminder of the forces that claimed so many souls. The lighthouse, once a symbol of hope and salvation, now stands as a monument to loss and longing, its beam cutting through the darkness like a plea for redemption. Whether viewed as a historical landmark or a haunted relic, Cape Hatteras continues to resonate with the echoes of its past, ensuring that the voices of its victims will never be silenced. As you stand beneath its towering silhouette or gaze out over the endless expanse of the Atlantic, take a moment to reflect on the countless lives touched, or extinguished, by this unforgiving coastline. Listen closely, and you may hear the whispers of sailors calling from beyond the grave, their stories etched into the very fabric of the land and sea. For at Cape Hatteras, history does not merely repeat itself, it haunts. The spirits of New London Ledge Light, a phantom keeper's eternal vigil nestled off the rocky shores of Connecticut. The New London Ledge Light stands as a striking fusion of elegance and eeriness. Built in 1909, this red brick lighthouse is unlike its stark, utilitarian counterparts along the East Coast. Its colonial revival architecture gives it the appearance of a quaint seaside cottage, complete with dormer windows, a mansard roof, and even a wraparound porch. Yet, beneath its charming facade lies a dark and enduring legend, one centered around the tormented spirit of Ernie, a former lighthouse keeper whose tragic end continues to haunt the structure. Ernie's story begins in the early 20th century, during a time when lighthouse keeping was a solitary and often grueling profession. Isolated from society and burdened by the relentless demands of maintaining the light, many keepers succumbed to loneliness and despair. According to local lore, Ernie was no exception. After years of dutiful service, he fell into a deep depression, exacerbated by strained relationships with his superiors and mounting personal struggles. One fateful night, unable to bear the weight of his anguish, Ernie took his own life by leaping from the rooftop into the icy waters below. His body was never recovered, but his spirit is said to have remained behind, forever bound to the lighthouse he once called home. Since then, reports of paranormal activity at New London Ledge Light have become legendary. Current occupants and visitors alike recount eerie encounters with a mischievous yet melancholic entity believed to be Ernie. Doors slam shut on their own, lights flicker without explanation, and furniture shifts positions overnight. One of the most common complaints involves the sudden disruption of electronics. Radios turn on by themselves, playing static-filled tunes, while televisions display channels that aren't tuned in. Some claim to hear the faint sound of footsteps pacing the wooden floors above, accompanied by the occasional sigh or muffled sob. More unsettling are the sightings of Ernie himself. Described as a man in early 20th century attire, his translucent figure has been spotted standing at the edge of the rooftop, gazing out over the water as though contemplating another leap. Others report seeing him seated at the kitchen table, sipping from an invisible cup of coffee, or reclining on the porch, smoking a phantom cigarette. In one chilling account, a Coast Guard crewman stationed at the lighthouse awoke in the middle of the night to find Ernie standing at the foot of his bed, staring silently before vanishing into thin air. The playful side of Ernie's ghost adds a peculiar twist to the haunting. He is known for engaging in harmless pranks, such as hiding tools, rearranging items, or locking doors behind unsuspecting visitors. However, these antics often escalate into more sinister behavior. Occupants have reported feeling an icy hand grip their shoulder or a sudden pressure on their chest, as though Ernie is attempting to communicate, or perhaps warn, those who dare to intrude upon his domain. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to New London Ledge Light, intrigued by its reputation as one of the most active haunted sites in New England. Thermal imaging footage shows heat signatures appearing and disappearing in empty rooms, while electromagnetic spikes occur in areas where no electrical devices are present. One investigator claimed to capture a photograph of a figure leaning against the railing of the rooftop, a figure that bore an uncanny resemblance to descriptions of Ernie. What sets New London Ledge Light apart from other haunted lighthouses is the emotional resonance of its haunting. Unlike malevolent spirits driven by rage or revenge, Ernie's ghost seems trapped in a cycle of grief and regret. His actions suggest not malice but a desperate yearning for connection, to be seen, heard, and remembered. This poignant undertone has inspired both sympathy and fear among those who encounter him. For some, the experience is deeply moving. For others, it is profoundly unsettling. Today, the lighthouse operates as a private residence, offering limited public access through guided tours and overnight stays. Visitors are warned to tread lightly, as the energy within its walls can shift unpredictably. Many describe feeling an overwhelming sadness upon entering, as though the air itself is saturated with sorrow. Others report vivid dreams of drowning or falling, waking up drenched in sweat and convinced they've glimpsed Ernie's anguished face. For those who dare to spend the night, the experience is nothing short of surreal. The isolation amplifies every creak, groan, and whisper, creating an atmosphere ripe for both introspection and terror. As dawn breaks over the horizon, casting golden light across the water, one cannot help but wonder, was the figure seen on the rooftop truly Ernie, or simply the product of imagination amplified by the lighthouse's haunting allure? Either way, the legend of New London Ledge Light endures, a testament to the fragile boundary between life and death, and the eternal vigil of a keeper who refused to abandon his post. The black rock of Portland Head Light, shadows cast by a cursed stone perched majestically on the rugged cliffs of Cape Elizabeth, Maine. The Portland Head Light stands as one of the most iconic lighthouses on the East Coast. Commissioned by George Washington himself in 1791, it has guided countless ships through the treacherous waters of Casco Bay, earning its place as a symbol of resilience and maritime heritage. Yet, beneath its storied history lies a darker narrative, one tied to a mysterious black rock embedded in the shoreline below. Known locally as the Black Rock, this ominous stone is shrouded in legend, whispered to carry a curse that has plagued the lighthouse and its surroundings for centuries. The origins of the Black Rock's curse trace back to the indigenous tribes who once inhabited the area. Oral traditions speak of the rock as a sacred site imbued with spiritual significance, a portal connecting the physical world to realms beyond. When European settlers arrived, they dismissed these beliefs as superstition and began using the rock as a makeshift dock for fishing boats. It wasn't long before misfortune befell those who dared to disturb its sanctity. Fishermen reported dwindling catches, their nets coming up empty despite abundant schools of fish nearby. Ships passing close to the rock encountered sudden storms, their hulls splintering against hidden reefs. Over time, the black rock became synonymous with bad luck, its dark surface glinting ominously under the moonlight like a malevolent eye watching over the bay. As the years passed, the curse seemed to extend its reach to the lighthouse itself. Keepers assigned to Portland Head Light spoke of an oppressive atmosphere that clung to the structure, particularly during storms. Strange occurrences became commonplace. Lanterns extinguished without cause, doors slammed shut against fierce winds, and eerie moans echoed through the tower, mimicking the cries of drowning sailors. One keeper claimed to see the ghostly figure of a woman in white standing atop the cliffs near the black rock, her arms outstretched as if beckoning someone, or something, into the abyss. Others reported hearing the faint sound of chanting emanating from the rocks below, though no one was ever seen performing such rituals. The legend of the Black Rock gained further notoriety in the late 19th century following a series of catastrophic shipwrecks. In 1898, the steamship Annie C. Maguire ran aground just yards from the lighthouse, its hull splitting open as waves battered the vessel. Miraculously, all aboard survived, but the incident left an indelible mark on the community. Locals pointed to the Black Rock as the culprit, claiming it had summoned the storm that drove the ship to ruin. Decades later, another vessel met a similar fate, prompting calls to destroy the rock altogether. However, attempts to dynamite it proved futile. Each explosion merely chipped away fragments, leaving the core intact and seemingly unscathed. To this day, the Black Rock remains a fixture of the coastline, its presence both foreboding and immutable. Modern-day visitors to Portland Head Light often find themselves drawn to the Black Rock, whether out of curiosity or morbid fascination. Many report feeling an inexplicable heaviness in its vicinity, as though the air is charged with unseen energy. Some claim to see shadowy figures moving across its surface, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. Others describe hearing whispers carried on the wind, speaking in languages unfamiliar yet undeniably urgent. Photographers capturing images of the lighthouse have occasionally discovered anomalies in their shots, dark smudges hovering near the rock or glowing orbs suspended in midair. Paranormal investigators have conducted numerous expeditions to unravel the mysteries of the Black Rock, employing advanced technology to document its alleged supernatural properties. Thermal cameras have detected sudden drops in temperature near the stone, accompanied by electromagnetic spikes inconsistent with natural phenomena. EVP recordings reveal faint voices pleading for help or warning of impending danger, their tones laced with desperation. Perhaps most disturbing was the account of a researcher who placed a motion-activated camera near the rock overnight. Upon reviewing the footage, he discovered a blurred figure dragging itself across the rocks, its movements jerky and unnatural, before vanishing into the surf. What makes the Black Rock particularly unnerving is its ability to evoke primal fears. Its dark, jagged surface resembles a monstrous claw emerging from the earth, ready to snatch unsuspecting victims. The surrounding waters churn violently, even in calm weather, creating an illusion of perpetual unrest. For those who venture too close, the sensation of being watched is palpable, as if the rock itself is alive and aware of their presence. Despite, or perhaps because of, its cursed reputation, the Black Rock continues to captivate imaginations. Local tour guides weave its legend into their narratives, adding layers of intrigue to the already fascinating history of Portland Head Light. Artists and writers draw inspiration from its haunting visage, crafting works that explore themes of mortality and the unknown. Even skeptics admit to feeling a frisson of unease when standing beside the stone, unable to shake the feeling that something ancient and unknowable resides within. To visit the Black Rock is to confront not only the supernatural but also the enduring power of folklore. It serves as a reminder that some places defy rational explanation, existing instead as conduits for collective fears and desires. Whether viewed as a cursed relic or a sacred artifact, the Black Rock commands respect and caution. As you gaze upon its darkened form jetting defiantly into the sea, remember, the shadows it casts are not merely physical. They stretch far beyond the horizon, into realms where light cannot penetrate. As we bring this first chapter of our haunted journey along the East Coast to a close, let us pause to reflect on the stories we've uncovered. Tales of tragedy, resilience, and the supernatural woven into the very fabric of these storied lighthouses. From the spectral whispers of St. Augustine to the anguished cries echoing from the graveyard of the Atlantic at Cape Hatteras, from the mischievous antics of Ernie at New London Ledge Light to the ominous curse of the Black Rock beneath Portland Head Light, each location has offered a glimpse into the delicate interplay between history and the unknown. These lighthouses are more than mere structures. They are monuments to human ingenuity and vulnerability, their beams cutting through darkness while their shadows harbor secrets that refuse to fade. Yet, our exploration of the East Coast's haunted heritage is far from over. In part 2 of this series, we will delve even deeper into the mysteries that lie beyond the horizon, venturing into lesser-known but equally chilling tales of lighthouses steeped in legend and lore. We'll encounter spirits that linger not out of malice but from an unyielding attachment to the places they once called home. We'll uncover stories of love, loss, and redemption, all set against the backdrop of the unforgiving sea. Whether you're a skeptic seeking intrigue or a believer chasing goosebumps, the next installment promises to deliver an unforgettable descent into the shadowy waters of the past. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your hearts open. The lighthouses we've explored today remind us that the line between the seen and the unseen is thinner than we often realize. They challenge us to embrace the unknown, to listen to the whispers of history, and to honor the lives and deaths that have shaped our world. Thank you for joining us on this voyage into the haunted heart of the East Coast. Stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the light may guide us, but the shadows hold the truth. We'll see you soon, for there are still more stories waiting to be told.